I have no juddery video. Or is it? No. Oh, it started juddering again now I'm videoing. That's really annoying. Really annoying. Anyway, I thought I'd solved that. Anyway, I want to do another one of these little videos because I'm trying to put together what my next step in terms of either training or consulting or delivery. What is it that I do that is going to be most useful to the people who are around me? Specialising. So there's a few things that I specialise in. Remote access is one, and producing is another. And one of the things that comes with media producing is being able to put together the campaigns, not devise them, because marketers do that and they're great at them. It's working out what tools are available to deliver the vision within the budget you're provided with. It's great when you've got a budget, but quite often, especially with the arts and especially with the entertainment industry, it's kind of a chicken and an egg. And the more successful you get with your shows, the more you can feed stuff back into your marketing budget. But when you're at the start of a project and it's in the research and development stage, there's a point at which you want to test something within your audience and you want to raise awareness, but you're not quite at that point where you full press release and sing and dance. And that's a little bit of the situation that the British Actors Network is in. And they've been in phase 2 now since mid-November. And the idea is to take the existing Facebook community, which is really very, very active and very valued, and try and make that into something that's more than just Facebook. So taking band beyond Facebook. Some people have said that Helen is a complete and utter loony for wanting to take it out of Facebook. But I agree with her, and it's very dangerous to be stuck into one platform. So anyway, the point of this, I'm going to get on with it. The point of this is there's been a survey done, and Helen asked, what if ban ceased to exist? And also, what does ban mean to you? And there's some fantastic quotes that came back, and they are perfect for time-released, regular content for Twitter. So the question is, how do you go about establishing some regular content? Because people often say to me, how do you do social media? And if you look at my social media feeds, they're not the regularity of my consistency is over a long period of time rather than short periods of time. So I've been around on social media since 2009. 2008, I think, is my Twitter birthday. So I've been around a little bit. And so whilst I'm getting to the point where I know how I'm going to put these together, a few have been released. There's 30 quotes from each, so there's 60 quotes. And I've started out at the beginning wanting to post them. But the key thing is metrics. And metrics for me always comes first. How do you measure it? How do you measure if something is valuable? And then how is that being received? Is it behaving in the way you're expecting it to? And the way that I've done that with this, and I think the client can often get very frustrated because it looks like things aren't happening fast. And when you're dealing with social media and it's got to come now, sometimes, unless you are investing in an already existing social media company who have a workflow, because that is what you're paying for. So remember that if you go to a social media agency and you get quoted a big number, the reason for that figure is not necessarily to make you content. You are investing in their already established processes. So knowing if they have processes is really important. So partly I think this video is to kind of give an insight into my process and how I'm going to want to speed this up. But to speed it up, there is a cost impact. And I'm kind of exploring that with myself. So this is kind of no opportunity to edit, but also a note to self. And also to see if there's any dialogue that I can get back. Do you do it this way? Do you find there's a different way of doing it? Are you an agency and charge for what I'm doing? And what what do you charge for this? Because it would be really interesting to talk to some agencies who deliver these kind of packages and watch this video and go, well, yeah, of course. And actually, oh, I do it a really easy way. Because you've been doing it regularly, I'm really interested in those processes. And I think we get very worried about sharing our processes because we think that then someone else will do it. But actually, working it out is only the first part of it. Maintaining it is the next thing. So I've been using Ripple. That's what you can see on screen at the moment. And Ripple is, I'll show you, yeah, so you can see these. So we've got over time. So when I first started this back in, I think this was 2016, I would put together these little videos. So let's have a look at the latest one. I'll show you the latest one. So the latest one is this. So I have to open it. So it's in edit mode, but essentially it's this. And there are 4 slides and the animation is created by Ripple. Each slide goes on to the next one. These are the quotes. Very, very simple. And that's it. So great. I can then edit that. So for the next one in the sequence that I want to do, which is going to be number 13. It's taking time because I'm also capturing stuff as well, I think. Let's hide that so you haven't got that to distract you all. So if I edit it, it's going to take me into the edit area. Okay, maybe not. Yes, it is. So I got my text. I changed that to 13, which is going to be my next one. The 4 slides are in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Going to the media, I've got those 4 slides. I delete the one that I'm going to do next and navigate to my media. And I have already predetermined the what does ban mean to you and what if ban cease to exist slides already made. So the what does number 13 here, honest info and advice. So in it goes, it'll appear here. I move it into the place I've got. So I've got the pre-established animation that goes over it. There's the post reel, the quote itself, the introduction, so quotes from Ban, and then the British Actors Network and the what it means to you is the animated bit. So when I've got that, I decide I want to go to the next, and this is where it will turn it into a little mini video for me. So when it thinks about it, it then goes into the process to which, and this is why I really like Ripple, because when it goes round and round, it just is hypnotizing, isn't it? Whether it's the beach ball of doom or it's the hourglass or the, that kind of, you kind of think, oh, I need to stop. It then brings you into this screen where you can post your tweet or you can compose your tweet. So with these ones, I go and change that. So the hashtag has changed. The bitterly we are ban is to the site that's got all of the updates on and everything. Made with Ripple is there as a hashtag because I'm using the free version. I'll get onto the paid version in a minute. And then I take out everything up to the hashtag we are ban. I will forward through to the quote because I can never remember what they say. There we go, pause it. So honest info and advice. Honest info and advice. There will be a bit more advice, a bit more that I put in there, composing the tweets, surprisingly, to make them engaging and to make them readable. That is going to take a minute, and the more you do, the more you have got to consider what's come before it. So you then start to not only have metrics, but you've then got to have a chain of content. Now, with Ripple, the reason why I really like it is because I can log I've got the Audiences Europe, Facebook, British Actor, Equity, Peter's Choose, my own Instagram, my own LinkedIn, British Actors Network's Twitter, a variety of Twitter accounts that at the moment are logged in. And beneath mine, you've also got one that is saved to computer. On this instance, because I'm not going to tweet it simultaneously, I will share it, but it's only saving to computer. So when I do this, dum-de-dum-de-dum, and it comes back, it will, when it's thought about it, bring up, and it's a what does ban mean? I select number 13, which is the JPEG, and it will now name it with and put MP4 at the end. So I can save that into there. It's saved. It will have tweeted, but I've also got them archived. So that at the moment is that process. The planning of the content, the creation of the content, there's kind of a mindset that you need to go through it. I'm up to quote 20. I've got the next 10 quotes to do. I can then back them up a couple of a day. And I've been looking at the statistics of when it's been tweeted and how many times that was viewed. And there were various things I learnt about the Twitter account for British Actors Network, which made me come to a halt, hold fire, watch things settle down. And now I'm re-establishing with a better practice, with a better flow in place to do something a bit more sustained and to see how the Twitter account reacts to that activity. So what am I doing to capture this? So I'm just using a Word document in Google Docs. It's just a basic spreadsheet. No, it's not even a spreadsheet. It's a Google Doc with a table in it. What does ban mean to you? I listed all the quotes. I've got the graphic that's got the tweet in it. I've got the graphic that's got the quote in it. I've then got the tweet that I sent, any notes that I want to put on there, so I can start to fill that up with how things have reacted. And at the beginning, I'm not particularly wanting to put a lot of time into this bit. And this is the thing. I could spend all the time at the beginning doing every single bit of this, but every single bit of this is taking, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and those 10 and 5 minutes in social media actually rank up. So you've got to be very careful about that. So those have gone all the way through. These were the last two that I did. I posted one yesterday and one today. I've also noted when I created them, and I will be putting the tweets there. So this has to be copied and pasted over. There are other ways of doing this, and I'm sure I would love to know what your techniques are. I would love to know that there's something that's a lot less manual. But for the limited focus that I'm doing at the moment for a specific client, this is the most effective way to do it and be authentic and be personal and be really focused on a project. And that's really important for me. And you pay for that. So that's another thing to be aware of when you go to an agency. How personal are they going to be with you and your content? Because if they're generating stuff and it's keeping your profile plastic and it's constantly updating and it's awareness thing, that could be enough. But if you want something that's very tuned and you've got a specific project impact that you want to see, that takes a little bit more time. So anyway, that's the quotes. So what else have I got here? I've got the quotes folder itself in Google Drive. So I have the quote series itself, which in there, it's an empty at the moment. It may be where I stick everything, but at the moment, that was a folder that I felt was useful. The stats report. So this is something that I've then done to be looking at what's happening and very quickly, what I have had here is I am just tracking a hashtag. Because again, what do you track and what are you looking for? So I'm tracking a hashtag, and I'm tracking that hashtag in TweetReach. So every Friday, I go to TweetReach and I get, let's have a look at our best ones so far. So, and I've then got, okay, let's have a look. So these were the last. I take a little screenshot so that I can take for reference. But a lot of it at this stage, it's gathering data and not being too presumptuous about what's coming in. I mean, we can see, where some of the stats here, the exposure is tracking. We can see here the estimated reach of these tweets that have this hashtag. Numbers aren't everything. Results are everything. And the ambition for this campaign is to get people to sign up to the British Actors Network. And at the moment, the mainstream of that is to get people to sign up to be founding members. Founding members are a £50 upfront fee to help the project establish itself outside of Facebook. There'll then be a subscription base from free to £8 to £12, and links below for the podcasts that explain all about ban and all that sort of stuff, rather than me going into that. So this quote series, I wanted to be able to automate it more, because we want to put out 2 to 4 of these quotes a day. And when they've all gone out, I want to be able to recycle them and then spread them out every other day, or reuse the content for Helen, because it is all genuine content. They're great quotes that came from members, and being able to generate content and then repurpose it is really valuable. So how was I doing that? Well, how I would do it, I've done it in the past. I have had paid account with Hootsuite, where I can either get a spreadsheet and you can put everything in and you can upload them and time them. There's that method. So there's the automation. There's a cost to that. I'll come on to the price of that. There's also, with Ripple, there is a scheduling feature. And if I'm going to be scheduling, I might not necessarily want to charge a client an entire year's worth. Question is it worth me investing in this as an agency? And this is another thing to think about when you're actually going to a social media agency. Like myself, I have to decide which platforms I'm going to invest in. And when you come to me as a client, if there's enough clients that are making it worth my while, I can invest in that platform. I haven't done for this platform for various reasons. We're not talking about my business cash flow right now. But yeah, volunteering and stuff like that don't pay the bills. I'm learning. They are completely other posts. So anyway, so yeah, you can come and work with me, by the way. But that's, personal plug. Get in touch if you want to do a project, you want to talk about a project. So where are we? So yeah, we had all of those. We got some quotes. We've got some stats being measured. We've got the British Actors Network, followers and fans. So this is the other platform I've been using to start to make my decisions about what's happening with the audience. Now, Twitter, followers and following, we all know about. But there's also these other 2 metrics which are really important. One is mutuals and one are fans. Now, the mutuals are the people that you follow and follow you back, and they're the people that you can direct message. Fans are people who are following you, but you don't follow back. And then there's also a group of people who you follow, but they don't follow you back. And if they don't follow you back, they can't see you. They can see you if they happen to be following a hashtag, but they aren't an audience that you want to rely on. They tend to be, for me, people who I want to see. So they're the people who are my influencers. And if they don't follow me back, I'm like, meh. Their content is important enough for me not to need to have that reciprocal relationship. So This platform, which these screenshots are from, is called Dolphy. It's a Twitter app for mobile only. And this, I really like this for giving me a breakdown of really what's going on. It takes a while to really understand what these percentages mean in terms of where your audience are and what you need to do. And having discussions about what this data is telling you is just as important as quoting figures. So it tells you how many people you've gained. It also tells you how many people you've lost. You've got the followers, the fans, the not following back. I've got the fans here. I've also got the users who are not following back. It's really good to keep that quite low. So there's that data. I've then got some other bits. There's also a live analytics that we have from the platform, which I'm not going to share with you because that really is confidential data of what's going on with the project. But this is data that if you put the Twitter account in, or anyone's Twitter account, into some of these platforms, some of them will let you sign in, some of them will let you compare yourself against them. So this is the other thing with a social media agency, you are going to be able to tap into their insights. And if they are keeping up with their competitors, they can explore your competitors depending on what arrangement you have with them. And that data that they can build up over time is invaluable, because until you've aggregated data, you can't interrogate the data. And that again is something that people find very frustrating, that you need to pick your data points, and you can get to a point when you look back at your data and go, oh, that isn't really telling me what I wanted to know. So knowing what you want to know from your data, when you go to someone to look at your analytics and decide how successful you're being, that's really important as well. So the last few things and the reason why I kind of wanted to do this was I've come to a point where I would want to be automating, but I want to automate with control and I want to automate with metrics. Now, I can continue working with Ripple, but if I want to go to Ripple's paid platform, I can have 7 days. And I could use the scheduling system for 7 days. However, I'm not sure if once I stop the 7-day programming, whether anything that I already had scheduled will release. I doubt it would. Might be an oversight on their part, but I find highly unlikely that once my week trial is up, that if I programmed for a year, it would continue to post them. So I'm going to say that's not. So, okay, so $10 a month. To test a product, that would be fine, because if I decide I don't want to use it with another client, to keep my costs down and to keep that impact to my clients of what my hourly rate is or my project rates, I tend to not keep too many platforms running. However, if I go to the 7-day trial, they're going to charge me for a whole year's cycle. So actually, this is adding a whole $100 onto a project that as a campaign is only really intended to last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, so that I can take data points. So I'm reluctant to say to the client, I need to add $100 on, because they're going to say, well, you're not going to use it forever. However, it's not within my budget right now to be able to spread it out over the cost of my existing clients. That's something that is going to have to go on my side processes and workflow to decide how that's going to fit into my planning. So at the moment, that's a no. So I thought, okay, let's go with a good old HootSuite, because HootSuite, as much as I don't like it for day-to-day use, I'm much more a TweetDeck fan. There are some features in HootSuite which I always come back to, because they used to be embedded in other services, but gradually as social media management has evolved, those services have diminished and HootSuite has gone from strength to strength. Now, HootSuite, let me just demonstrate this. With HootSuite, you have similar things like with the streams. You can follow tweets, you can follow a particular person, you can make all sorts of, you can add loads of streams, you can add loads of social media. So it's a great hub. And as a free service, I think you can put 3 social networks in. So for Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, it's kind of a no-brainer. So, if you don't want to do an agency, but you want to start to have a look at what your social media is saying, this is a great place to start that. I'll do a TweetDeck one soon. Thanks for staying along for this time. I just realised just how long I've been going on, but it's really quite important for me to go through this in one unbroken session. There's all sorts of things I can then do with these videos. I can watch them back, I can put them through Otter and I can transcribe them. I can then take that text and I can put it into a document and go through the keywords, or I can turn it into a mind map with loads of words to see what my words were, or I can just go back and see what it was that, I was talking about. And also by putting it down, this note to self, I know it's there. So if I want to go back and see how I unpick this, I can do that. So, and this is where, if you're publishing, you get a planner. I don't know how new, this has probably been around for a while, but this is something that I haven't, because I'm doing so much with different stages of social media. I don't have a great deal of people who are moving on to this level of complexity. So for free, you can manually program in and save them as drafts. You can put them in, set them off, and you can have, a couple of tweets, which is great. And I thought that's great. Manually, it might take me a little longer, but once it's there, I can copy and paste and you can roll on the end. So as long as you have your process, which is updating the end of it whilst you're coming towards the end, you can kind of cycle down and build up a process. So that is something that's really important. But then the main thing came to me. I make the videos in Ripple. I can save them. I can actually put them in to here. As I say, if I edit my tweets, I can put my text in. I can select my media. Great. And then I thought, that's great, but I'm going to need to track it. What would that look like here? So I'm going to discard the changes on there. So I thought, well, okay. So I'm not using the automated bit, but analytics. Analytics, unfortunately, is only really available if I upgrade my plan. And we're back to the same conundrum of, yes, it is £25 a month. And from my previous iterations of using this on a per project basis or per event, just to upload and let it run, that £25 a month was fine. But at this stage, is £25 a month worth it to the client for the analytics alone? Or is the work that's going into it, sustainable? So after we finish this, we may decide that, that's not going to happen. I think that won't be the case. But also there's a lot of people who just don't like Hootsuite. So there might be a conflict in, I don't like Hootsuite. And it may be a conversation that I have with the client to explain why I want to use it, what it's going to give us, what the advantages are, what the future strategy could be with it. And that's very unique to every single person. So having a workflow that you unload to every single client, it might be worth your time when you're doing it on a large scale. But if you're an independent business, or you're a freelancer, or you're a theatre company, or you're an artist, that's going to be a big consideration, because 25 quid a month to some people is not a lot. But 25 quid a month to an artist, where the regularity of your income isn't always guaranteed, that could be quite quite a hurdle to stomach every single month. And yes, you can turn it on and turn it off, but then you lose data and what you're going to lose and all that. So that's what it came really. And I really wanted to make this video because it was important for me to go through that conversation. Who knows? It could be something that's interesting on YouTube. I'm looking for an avenue with my YouTube stuff to try and decide where it goes. So again, it goes on there. I'll see how it gets shared, how it gets picked up by the algorithm. Am I going to find something that I do that is going to appeal, that I can continue doing because I enjoy, but actually, it will start generating something for me to do regularly. And I've just been trying to do a bit more content. So I hope I haven't spoken too fast. That is where I'm at. I'm just going to be putting this together. Just wanted to give you that insight in what is involved at an early stage of an independent social media agency working on very small projects. And the larger agency you engage, the more established practices they have. I hope that makes sense. I'm just really interested. Please do comment. If you don't want to comment here, or you're watching it on YouTube or Facebook, or you've followed a link on Twitter, because this is being recorded in Loom. So I get a link and I can put this other places. So I can kind of drop it in and see how it's received in different arenas, because I know that my audience is in a different location. So I'll be interested to see, where is it that you're seeing this? Is it interesting? Is there something in here? Do you have a particular question that you'd like me to cover? So yeah, it won't be until I look at the timer how long I've gone on. I imagine this is going to be 20 minutes, which, considering I would try and like to keep things between 5 and 10, so that you guys don't use the will to live. Don't think there's anything else. Just talk to me in the comments. So thank you very much. Read my profile, blog quiz, whatever. I'm Karen at PCM Creative on Twitter, PCM Creative across all over the places. And hopefully you'll hit that subscribe button and you'll watch in future.